Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, June the 24th. Sorry, that was probably a little louder than usual. I had random power outage here yesterday. It wasn't a true power outage, I should say. It was the first time that for whatever reason just turn that down a little bit. The kettle, the electric kettle we have behind me here normally. I was streaming and Em was trying to make some coffee before work or whatever, and went ahead and went to boil her water, and boom goes the dynamite, tripped the breaker. And so the computer popped off, and when I turned it back on, my audio interface had like the settings had just fucking wiped on it. And so yeah, so I'm still trying to like get that back to where it was. So that was a little louder than normal. I apologize, but here we are anyway. It's another Technical Awful podcast. Got another great show lined up for you today. If you're first time here, welcome. Thank you for stopping on by. If you're here for the live stream or listening to us for the first time at home, out there on the RSS feeds, we appreciate it. We talk about video games and TV and movies and lots of random phallic jokes. As many sexual analogies as humanly possible, because we're grown men. And that's what grown men do. Make dick jokes. It's exactly what we live up to here on the podcast. Mr. Maximus Black, before we get started, I have to ask you a very important question. How was your week?
It was another week, man. This time there wasn't really anything out of the norm. I feel like this last week just flew by.
There was some speed.
Yeah, the weeks are just... I mean, we're at the end of June. It's going to be July next week.
I feel you, bro.
July.
Yeah. That's July.
It's crazy.
July.
Nothing new. Just same old thing. Just grinding the stream, and that's it. That's just been pretty much my life. That's the show. Our pool's open, so that's a thing. Kayla was out there with Kai and a friend of Kayla's and her kid swimming in the pool. And that's pretty much it. That's the show.
Amazing.
My week.
Amazing. Just one sec here. I do need to just turn you down a little bit. It's all over the place now. There we go. Yeah, you're not wrong. The week went very quickly. Blink and it was gone. Time flies and all that. Yeah, I didn't do anything crazy this week. I was waiting on Mario Golf, which drops tomorrow. So that's my next review game. Now that we got the Final Fantasy VII. The name of this is just hilarious to me. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade Intermission Episode Yuffie. We got that up. The review is done for that. I played that and got that out finally. And now we're just waiting on Mario Golf, which is tomorrow. Drops tomorrow, so I'll be checking that out. And otherwise, in the meantime, I was just killing time. I was playing some Warzone until I couldn't anymore. And then we swapped over. I tried Valorant finally. I hadn't played Valorant yet since it came out. Finally decided to install that Chinese malware and give her a rip. And yeah, it's been good, getting my ass kicked by a bunch of sweaty Adderall snorting 12-year-olds is definitely an ego check when you show up and you're just getting completely fucking domed in like 80 milliseconds. It's quite impressive, the speed in which some of these kids are reacting out there. But we had some good games. I was playing with Hallie a couple of times. He was playing a lot of that game over the last while as well, so we had some fun with that. And I played TFT last night because I was just getting desperate for like literally anything that wasn't Warzone. Otherwise, that was it. Just burning time. The leg thing isn't any better. In fact, it's probably worse. I just got off the phone with my doctor actually right before the podcast. The good news is my blood worked completely fine. No autoimmune disorders or anything of that nature. Now we wait for my biopsy on the 6th to see if there's anything there. And if not, well then, she said, I don't even know. Couldn't tell you, which is always great to hear. When you just get the I don't know, it's a good time. So the best case scenario she figures, if we can't figure anything out, is she's got Her only idea is that I can't remember the name of the condition, but she said it could be an extreme version of that, in which case there's some blood pressure medication. Even though my blood pressure is fine, this blood pressure medication aims to like open up the small veins in your extremities and whatnot, and apparently that is the thing that's supposed to like alleviate the issue, but I don't even know. I've got even heavier duty compression socks on today. We'll see how that goes. But otherwise, if I'm going to be real with you, bro, my life is a living torturous hell right now. I'm just going to be fucking straight with you. And I try and keep my cool when I'm on stream, but everything sets me off right now because I am in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I can only stand, sit, or anything for about 3 hours before my feet are the size of fucking, I don't know, watermelons. Just fucking, they just balloon up like crazy. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks, but we'll make it work. Just like we're gonna make this podcast work. And we got a whole bunch of gaming news to go over. You ready to dive into that, Mr. Blank?
Let's go.
Windows 11. Remember that time that Microsoft said that Windows 10 was going to be the last Windows, and they were just going to perpetually update Windows 10 moving forward? Yeah, that's not a thing. They snuck that out not too long ago that Windows 11 was on the way, and they did their little, I guess, event showing of that today. I watched the live stream for that. I watched a good chunk of it anyway. Not all of it. I didn't catch the front bit, but the important stuff for those of us who give a shit for the gaming benefits, because, you know, that's all most of us care about. So the good news is, other than the benefits that it will eventually come with, are that it's just like Windows 10 was, at least for a time, it will be a free upgrade. So I don't know how long that window will be. Like with Windows 10, when you came up to Windows 10, there was like a time period where you could upgrade for free before you were going to have to pay for it eventually. I suspect they're going to do the same thing there. They did say that it is a free upgrade, but they didn't say like that there's a window or not of time. Nevertheless, Windows 10 is also getting, I think, updates up until 2025. So it's not like you're going to nuke this shit this holiday season. You got some time. You can hang on to your Windows 10 for damn near another 4 years. So I wouldn't get too worried about it. You can let some other people, you know, beta test Windows 11 if you want, and then get on the train further down the road. But the gaming stuff that they came up with that was worth noting, Auto HDR, which is what Xbox Series X has, for example, where it's that I guess you could just call it a software for the ease of description, that retroactively tone maps games to make it compatible with and improve the visuals for HDR compliant TVs, monitors, and whatnot. So games that don't natively have HDR then get these HDR functionality, or this HDR functionality, and while it can be sometimes a little hit or miss, a lot of times it does make the game look pretty dramatically better, especially if you, of course, have an HDR TV or monitor. So that's coming. And then another piece of the Xbox puzzle also getting added to PC via Windows 11 is their high-speed like storage API that's like it uses the GPU instead of just relying on simply your regular storage to do its thing, and that's what's, you know, part of what that pipeline on the Xbox, similar to what they'd have, I guess, to a degree on the PlayStation, that makes their load times currently even faster in some instances than PCs. So they're bringing that via Windows 11. PCs will have that same kind of functionality as well. Of course, it's likely going to require certain hardware to make it work. Like you're not going to have like a 8-year-old laptop that you pull out the fucking storage room and turn that bitch on and all of a sudden it's running all this shit. It's probably going to need relatively modern hardware, but all the same, it's kind of cool. And obviously for those who game on the PC, nobody's going to bitch about faster load times, for example. And then finally, they're overhauling the Windows Store entirely, and will be more specifically integrating Game Pass related stuff into the Windows Store to make it a bit easier than it already is, which is good because the Windows Store right now sucks some balls. It's not good. It's real bad.
Yes. It sucks bad.
It's real bad. So they're overhauling the whole thing, and in fact, they're allowing for just about every type of application package to be compatible with the store for developers that don't want to just conform to the current store's standards. And also they mentioned for Windows 11 that they're gonna have I don't know if you'd call it native, but you're gonna be able to run Android apps on the desktop via any app that's available on the Amazon App Store for Android. So that would be, just for the ease of, social media, Twitter app, TikTok, Instagram, stuff that technically runs better on mobile, like mobile, or a desktop Instagram, for example, you can't even upload fucking videos. You gotta use your phone for that shit because, well, I couldn't tell you why, because fuck you, that's why. So with this, you'll be able to use it like you would on mobile, and it behaves just like it would in terms of snapping. So you'll be able to snap it just like a regular window and have it operate like another application on your computer, which obviously, if they actually get it working well, that's pretty cool. That's kind of a nice little feature to have, for sure. But otherwise, those are the three gaming pieces, the main gaming pieces that they brought up. And they even managed to squeak in a classic Todd Howard, "It Just Works."
There you go. It just works. It just works.
It was a cringy live stream, though. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't developers cringe, but it was still pretty fucking cringe. It was classic Microsoft for sure. They still can't seem to escape that bubble of cringe whenever they do their announcements. Next up, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but Skywind, which is that project, Mr. Black, where they're basically, it would be a disservice to say that they're just porting Morrowind into Skyrim's engine, because that's not necessarily really what they're doing, although that is a large portion of it. But they're more or less rebuilding the entirety of Morrowind within Skyrim's graphical engine, which brings with it all the things like the combat systems and everything that Skyrim has, and whatnot, and allows Morrowind to have all these other extra features. And furthering that, they are basically completely redoing everything from the ground up. And we're talking from concept art level, to which in their latest announcement, it was their dev video number 6 today, said that all concept art is finished, and so now that's being completely passed on to 3D modelers and whatnot. And this is all volunteers, people that are either really high-level hobbyists, game developers, from programming to voice acting to concept art and animation and everything all the way down through, level designers, all volunteer work over the years making this happen. And so because they're all either extreme hobbyist or professional, the work that they're doing is fucking incredible. It looks better than if Bethesda had made the fucking game in the engine. It's completely voice acted, so Morrowind was not voice acted outside of a couple of roles. So the whole game, every NPC, everything is voice acted. They're expanding the ancestral tombs and dungeons and stuff to all have more unique layouts, actually all have like quests and things to actually do within them and whatnot, and not just kind of they weren't cookie cutter, but they didn't all have things to do in the original game. They're completely overhauling the combat system. They have custom animation sets and whatnot for things that Morrowind had that Skyrim didn't. So for example, Skyrim didn't have spears, but Morrowind did, so they had to custom animate and rig for spears and throwing knives and things like that. It's an incredibly ambitious project, and it looks like, if I had to guess, they're about 2 years out, which would plant them probably, maybe 3. I suspect this is going to be inside of 1 to 2 years from Elder Scrolls 6 launching. You do need to own Morrowind and Skyrim to be able to run it. It is still a mod, which is why it hasn't been cease and desisted at this point, because it is ultimately a mod, and not only that, but it's a mod you need both of those games for. But very impressive work, and you can check out the latest dev video for it to see how it's coming along. Everyone will be impressed by it, honest to God. It's really quite a fucking piece of work. It shows you, it kind of it kind of gives you an idea. You know, you don't want to say that the people that are making these games originally, like Skyrim, for example, don't have passion for Elder Scrolls or something like that. Obviously, people working there likely have an attachment to Bethesda and their games. But when it's a passion project and it's fans doing it, and it's not monetarily driven, and they have as much time as they want, it's obvious the quality that can happen when you have that kind of a situation can be quite something. And I mean, if these guys aren't at least a couple of them picked up by Bethesda after this mod is done, I will be mindfucked, because it literally does make Bethesda's work kind of look like shit. so hopefully they do, and I look forward to playing it, because despite the fact that I won't really heavily mod Morrowind when I play it now, this is like a whole new experience, and it's quite exciting. But I'll probably be 40 years old by the time it comes out, so we got some time to do that. I think I've probably asked you this before, but when Elder Scrolls 6 drops, are you going to dip your toes back in the Elder Scrolls water, or are you going to let that one go by?
I'm going to let that one just go by. I'm just going to let that go.
Let that go?
Yeah.
Not even a little bit of interest, because you were like, when Skyrim dropped, bro, you had the fucking ultimate big dick, like, collector's edition. You had the dragon on a shelf for years. You had the whole thing. You were ready.
I've been burned by Bethesda, man. I'm done, man. I'm done.
Yeah, you had, what's the dragon's name? Anduin or whatever, that fucking statue. You kept that out for years, and he's probably still back there somewhere.
Yeah, he's back there somewhere in my closet, I think.
So no more collector's editions Bethesda's for you. You've been burned.
No, I've been burned.
Facebook, speaking about getting burned, Facebook announced last week that they were going to start testing out ads in some games for the Oculus headset. So Facebook bought out Oculus a while back now, and I think everyone was kind of waiting to see just how insidious Facebook was going to get with their headsets. Well, here you go. So they're testing out ads in a handful of games, they said, in Oculus. And these are games I think you pay for. I don't think these are freebies necessarily, but regardless, Facebook would try and get ads into a fucking VR headset. So here we are. So they did that. Unfortunately, the only developer that publicly was on board with this originally backed out here just in the last couple of days, because the entire fan base just about wanted to crucify them for even thinking about putting ads in a VR game. This is hot on the heels of Facebook doubling down on requiring a Facebook account to even use the Oculus in the first place. You can't use it and play games without having a Facebook account. Not that most people don't already have one, but lots of people are trying to get away from Facebook, not go back to it. So having an account is probably not high on the list of things people want to necessarily do right now. And that they are collecting a fair amount of data on you with this headset. Biometrics for certain games, for example, and as well as things like not hand scans, but they can scan the hand in a way with their system and use that, as well as other biometrics and any myriad of how you interact with the games, how you move while you're playing the games. All of it's being recorded and sent back to Facebook for whatever the fuck weird ass purposes they've got for that shit. So don't jerk off too much VR porn while watching through the Facebook Oculus headset, unless of course you want them to know exactly how long your dick is based on the stroke length that you're taking. So unless you're just hanging out at the top and you're not fucking around with them, unless you want them to know, be mindful. But that was a quick way. A lot of people just dropped Oculus entirely for that reason. Did you just have the PSVR headset, right? You didn't buy into any of the PC ones yet?
No, I got the Oculus Rift.
Oh, you do? Well, when's the last time you used it?
Like 3 months ago.
What were you playing on it?
I was playing that Phasmophobia game, and I also have the Beat Saber.
Yeah. Did you be honest? Did you watch some VR porn yet?
No, I haven't. No.
I'm surprised. I would have thought that would have been the first night you would have been checking out some VR porn.
Oh, no, dude. I'm not much of a porn guy these days, man.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, man.
The great Mr. Maximus Black has dipped out the porn game.
I mean,
Damn.
not fully, but I mean, mostly. Yeah. I probably should try out the VR porn just to see what it's like.
You gotta say that you've done it, right?
Listen, man, I'll tell you right now, I'm not even bullshitting you. If I did, I most certainly would tell you. You know, I'd tell you.
I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah,
That's why I'm asking.
I just haven't done it. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe tonight's the night, man. Maybe tonight's the night. Maybe I schedule a VR porn session.
There you go. See, we gotta know. We gotta fucking know. It's always weird when you see it like on the porn site because it's like because it shows up like the two lenses and it just looks fucking like ridiculous. See, we gotta know. This is for science now. So make sure to report back if you do decide to, give her a go.
It's a solid VR machine though. It's way better than the PlayStation VR.
Oh, it would be. It would
good.
be substantially better. Yeah, for sure.
It's really good.
Back for Blood. That's the Left 4 Dead by the or the totally not Left 4 Dead, done by some of the ex guys from Left 4 Dead. Confirmed that it requires an always online connection to play, even if you're just playing by yourself with some bots. I have them here in my notes. Well, I can't say that that bothers me in the slightest because who the fuck is playing this with bots? Some people are still super pissed when games have always online. Now, I get that with some games, because there are some games that are legitimately single-player experiences where they've tried to cram always online into the game, and that's fucking stupid. But, I mean, if we're talking about something that's like Left 4 Dead and it's always online, it's pretty much exclusively a multiplayer game. I mean, maybe less than 1% of the entirety of the ownership that buys this game is going to play with bots. And even they're probably going to have an internet connection that's always on at this point. So I don't know why people get all fucking frazzled about that shit. It's kind of fucking weird.
People complain about everything, bud.
It's true. Blue Box's upcoming. Oh, this is a nutty thing. There's a couple of videos you could watch that go into this even further than what I'm going to talk about here, but this is kind of funny. So, Blue Box's upcoming PS5 exclusive game called Abandoned, which we've actually seen a trailer for. I can't remember if we watched it on the podcast or not, but I'm pretty sure we did. Anyway, it was a while ago. It's turning into another kind of Hideo Kojima conspiracy, tying him to a possible Silent Hill game being done with Konami. The lead developer's name. So I'm just going to list some of the reasons or how this is going down. So in the past, Hideo Kojima has done these kind of like, what are they called? It's like it's a form of guerrilla marketing. It's like and it's almost like a fucking, there's a term for it. But basically, it's kind of like putting out a convoluted puzzle for the public to figure out on the internet over time, unlocking all the secrets of this product or this thing, and then and it becomes marketing because it becomes viral because everyone's talking about it. Are you having a rave over there right now?
I'm trying to fix my lighting. It just went crazy.
I'm about to put on Darude's fucking Sandstorm. Shit's getting ARG, that's what they refer to it as. So anyway, he's known to do this shit in the past. So people are already a little suspicious, right? So here's the thing. Sus, as the children would say. So the lead developer, the lead that's public facing, because only I think one guy has actually talked to any publications or come out and shown themselves or anything from this studio. His name, or his, I can't remember if it's his first or last name. I think it's his last name, is Karaman or something along those lines. And if you Google went down the rabbit hole, or just people went down the rabbit hole in this shit, but it's kind of a lot of coincidences lining up here. So for whatever reason, if you plug that bitch into Google Translator, in Turkish, it literally translates to Hideo. Hideo Kojima's first name. And the guy's first name also starts with an H, so his initials are HK. So, with Hideo Kojima. So that got people a little, question marks, of course, as to what was going on there. And fucking incredible coincidence if that were the case. Then people dug a little deeper and looked for this guy's PS5 profile. They found it. They found it. His PS5 profile name, or his gamer tag, whatever you want to call it, is Sneaky Warrior, which sounds an awful lot like Solid Snake, if you ask me. So the Sneaky Warrior. And furthermore, his account is verified, which is normally reserved for relatively high-profile developers, of which Blue Box is not necessarily relatively high-profile. In fact, they're about as under the fucking radar as somebody could possibly be. Further than that, it includes because you can see, if you allow people to, the recently played games that you've played, right? So on this guy's profile, they recently played, only for an hour, a game called Demon Blood, or Demon's Blood. The thing about that game is that it doesn't actually exist anywhere on the PlayStation Store. And not that anyone can really find a hell of a lot of it anyway. It is, by the picture in it, related to a creature that's actually done by a Canadian author or something like that, or has been talked about by a Canadian author, and I can't remember the name of it now. Oh, what's it freaking called? Anyway, they backtraced it. That's also loosely connected to Hideo Kojima and his previous shit. Further than that, and this was really the one that kind of set them off in the most obvious way, the dev team on Twitter tweeted, "Abandoned equals first letter S, last letter L," which is about, fucking come on. Silent Hill, for God's sake, right? That's what else is that supposed to be? Shill? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? And so obviously everyone went nuts. Then they later apologized, saying, no, we apologize. It's not supposed to be Silent Hill. We're sorry we baited you. Blue Box was apparently formed, Mr. Black, exactly 1 year to the day that the PT demo was released. And they hold absolutely zero trademarks as a company. Big goose egg. Apparently we're supposed to find out more tomorrow. And there's more to that rabbit hole. That's just kind of the highlights. However, if this is either the greatest list of coincidences in human history, and the dev team baited the fuck out of everyone on Twitter with the first letter S, last letter L, and that man might be killed in public if he ever goes outside, or this is a ridiculously well done ARG by Kojima and his crew for some sort of actual Silent Hill project, which I think, obviously, given how excited everyone has gotten about this and how widespread this crazy shit's gotten, apparently there's a lot of people looking to play Silent Hill, Mr. Black. Lots of people. So hopefully this pulls through and it's not just some bullshit indie game, because Blue Box, one of their few things game-related, they had a 99-cent mobile game that is a horror, investigation game. And then they have a Kickstarter that they put up back in like fucking 2016 or 2015 or some shit. Sorry, was it earlier, later than that? Anyway, they put a Kickstarter up not that long ago. I might be going back too far. And it only got like $100 and something out of 15 grand they were looking for, and so that went away. There is nothing on this company, and any attempts to talk to anyone other than this one guy that's come out has all been declined. So it's like the most sketched out fucking indie developer in history, or there's something else going on here. The guy, Karamon or whatever his name is, did a video and posted on Twitter to say, here's my face, I'm a real person, yada yada yada, but it looked like the dude was being held hostage in a fucking black room, for God's sake. It wasn't exactly the most well-defined space I've ever seen. So, I don't know, we're gonna see more tomorrow possibly. One way or the other, this is either the greatest ruse ever by a small indie team that's going to soak up a lot of, for better or worse, good and bad press for pulling the shit over people's eyes with this whole thing, or Hideo Kojima has done some sort of crazy multi-year-long fucking ARG lead up to this thing, and that would be absolutely insane. So we'll wait and see tomorrow. Apparently, we're supposed to know more, but there you go, another Hideo Kojima special. It's gotta happen once in a while, Mr. Black. You gotta get fucking down the rabbit hole.
Why not?
But you know, it's kind of funny. People were saying there's so many things here that are coincidental. And there's so much more than what I've just listed here. It's stupid. That the people were, somebody was, I can't remember who said this, but it was on Twitter, and they were like, this kind of scares me because I kind of believe it, and I would understand now how people start getting into conspiracy theories. It's like they just start looking for shit, and they're like, oh yeah, that matches up with this, and that all comes together, and oh my god, it's gotta be, you know.
You see what you want to see, man. That's what it is.
It's true.
Your brain just.
I mean, they had me at this motherfucker's name literally translates into Hideo, and his first and last initials are H and K, and at that point, it's like, fuck me. I mean, like, that's the greatest coincidence in the history of video games. And then that specific guy is a developer, then posts that shit on his Twitter about SNL, and you're like, fucking, come on, really? What are the fucking odds? So there you go. We'll talk about it next week if we find out more about that. But go ahead and watch some videos on it. You'll get a good laugh out of it anyway, because it's a funny rabbit hole to go down. More wild rumors, as allegedly EA will be reviving a game. We don't know what game yet, but all signs seem to point towards Dead Space, Mr. Black.
I heard.
Which would be revealed more than likely on July 22nd at their EA Play event, which they're obviously going to show off a number of things. That's one title I can talk to you about. You were into the Dead Spacing.
I'm into the Dead Space. That's a game I will buy if they come up with a new one. So we'll see.
Did you play both of them?
I did.
Yeah, and you enjoyed them quite a bit, didn't you?
Yep.
I mean, they're pretty good games. The first one
fun.
especially, yeah. So yeah, we'll find out if that is the case, I guess on the 22nd, unless it leaks prior. But that makes sense. I can go along with that. You know, a lot of people have been asking for another Dead Space for quite some time, and we are in the season of revivals and remasters and remakes and everything else and every other R word you can come up with.
Yeah, but I don't want a remake.
No, I don't think it'd be that. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But you know, could I see them remastering ahead of a release of a new one? Yeah, sure. You know, get everyone excited about shit happening again, and put it out on the new consoles. Oh, here's the 4K remasters of 1 and 2, and then here we got a new one coming up in the future. But I suspect it would be a new one anyway, because they do call it a revival. So I suspect that means they're actually making a new one. Also, EA this week acquired Playdemic, who is a developer or the developer behind Golf Clash, and you can already assume what that means on mobile games as soon as it has the word Clash in it, what you're getting there. There's about I don't even know how many Clash games there are now, but there's a lot. When you get to Golf Clash, you're far down the list. There's a lot of things to clash with. Golf is far down the fucking list. But Golf Clash, which was purchased from Warner Bros. Games and AT&T. So this is part of that, you know, that merger divergence thing that they're doing and selling off the game-related divisions. This was one of those things. And they bought it for $1.4 billion in cash. They went all in with all the big FIFA bucks and said, we want Golf Clash in our corner. So $1.4 billion. We're shelled out for that. And I suspect that's the first of many that we're going to hear about being sold off from Warner Bros. And AT&T as they go through their whole merger and divesting themselves of those game assets that they have. There was an unfortunate bug in Avengers, the game that like 5 people are still playing. But they did have a big patch or big update here. And apparently, it broke some shit so bad that it's been showing people's IP addresses bouncing around the screen, kind of like, you know, you had the DVD, you know, player turned on with no disc in it, and shit's bouncing around, you're waiting for it to hit the corner. All right, it was like that except with your IP address. So if you feel like doxing yourself, feel free to stream that game right now.
Unless you've got NordVPN. Promo code OTT.
Fucking marvelous. There you go. Well done. So yeah, don't stream that game. Not that any of you are.
Nobody's streaming that game, Adam. It's
But
hurting nobody.
just on the off chance, maybe you were thinking, I don't want anyone to see my stream. Maybe I'll play this. Don't. Following that, we got here you go. Gears of War creator and recently head of the swing and a miss that was Lawbreakers. And I think there was one other game that followed Lawbreakers as well that also unfortunately shut down like a month afterwards because the entire company folded a month after the release. Cliff Bleszinski, Cliffy B, working on a new IP after stepping away for a while. And he's working in partnership with some team, and I'm trying to remember the name, and I wish I wrote it down in my notes, and I don't know why I didn't. But either way, new intellectual property coming from Cliffy B.
Cliffy B.
Who is still in the middle of a midlife crisis, as far as I can see. Mid-career crisis. This is the man that popularized id Tech and gave us, Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, amongst other things. It's not that he doesn't have pedigree, but he just hasn't been able to, he hit that home run early on in his career. And it's just like I had to poke fun at him. He was the guy that went out on that E3 stage and said, fuck, for the first time. And everyone was like, oh, Cliffy. And he wore that, like, big fucking diamond earring, probably because he made all that money off of Gears of War.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he just swing and a miss after swing and a miss after that, unfortunately. So, maybe he can claw that back, and he's chasing the dragon right now, Mr. Black. He's chasing the dragon. He needs to find that next hit, and maybe this will be it, but we'll find out more, and we'll let you guys know when we know more about it. All we know right now, new IP, Cliffy B, and friends. Lastly, we've got Sonic's 30th birthday, Mr. Black. Sonic, also a filthy, poor millennial, 30 years old this year. And Minecraft is getting kind of a tribute pack of sorts for Sonic that honestly looks better than most of the brand new Sonic games that we've been getting. So, hey, go check that out if you're interested. But I did have a question here, Mr. Black.
Okay.
For you. Sonic struggle bussing like crazy. Other than the movie, the movie, surprisingly, somehow ended up being one of the best things Sonic's had in a hot minute. And it was almost catastrophic, to be fair. They pulled that one back from the fucking brink in the 11th hour, and we all know how that went. Do you think that Sonic should just give up the dream of chasing 3D and just sticking to and mastering the art of the 2D high-speed platformer? Because they haven't really done much of the 2D. They've flirted with it, but they seem to be hell-bent on 3D.
I think 3D can work. I just think they need to basically make a Mario, but as Sonic. That's what they need to do.
Can you do that and keep the speed, though? Is that possible?
Hey, I'm not a developer, so I leave that up to them. I'm sure you could. But if you can go around and collect so many rings in an area, and get like the big golden ring and collect so many of them before you end the game and open up different, raceways or, paths or whatever. I think they could do it. You could fight bosses, they're very similar. You could literally carbon copy Mario and change the skin to Sonic and have a game. You can have the different characters there to help you. You could play as different characters if you really wanted to. I think 3D could work if they did that. I don't know what the fuck. I haven't watched their newest games. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But I think that's the route to go. If not, just keep it a 2D platformer and just go.
Yeah, so they've done. I won't say that they've done what you're describing because they haven't. They haven't gone full Mario platformer, but they did do a few iterations of what would be like if Mario and Sonic had a baby in terms of gameplay. So you'd get segments that were more platformy, and in order to try and keep speed, what they would do is they would allow you to have like this they give you this targeting system where it would auto-target enemies that were in front of you, and when you pressed a button, you would dash, like spin dash attack them from the air and pop back up, and you could dash back in if you wanted to. And it was that they tried to like merge the speed of Sonic with the platforming of more of a traditional platformer, and it sort of worked. The problem is it got a little janky, and you'd like oftentimes get yeeted to the sun. And like go off the rails, off into the fucking water or some shit, because the two mechanics didn't quite come together all that well. But when it worked and you watched somebody that was good at it, you know, it was kind of fun to watch because it would have 2D segments. It was still in 3D, but you were doing like side scrolling, and then the camera would cut in, and you'd get like some some full on 3D from the back type stuff. With the exception of what was it, Sonic. Was it Sonic Generations? Anyway, the one that they ended up bringing in a bunch of fans to help them do the work, and that was a 2D, like, side-scroller. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would love to see them try and do 3D and get it to work, but they've tried so many times now, I don't know if they have it in them. Sonic Mania, thank you, Cole. That's the one I'm trying to think of. Generations was a hybrid. It wasn't completely awful, but yeah, those two, yeah. I do think that, personally, when you see how excited, for example, people are seeing that new Metroid game, the Metroid that we talked about last week, that's in 2D, and people are excited about that, it got me thinking. I was like, maybe Sonic doesn't need to chase after 3D. Maybe if people are still down for the 2D shit, if it's done really well, maybe they should just fucking like, you know, like the old saying goes, with Bruce Lee, I don't fear the man that's practiced 1,000 kicks once, but the man that's practiced one kick 1,000 times. You know, maybe just make 2D really fucking fire Sonic and just walk the fuck away. Because, you know, Mario does have the leg up in that, you know, he can do regular platforming, and it's fine. Because it was never about being fast outside of beating the clock in the original games. Sonic doesn't have that, you know, luxury because people expect it to be like fucking like bleeding fast. Whole character is about fast. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what comes up. We do know that they have a new Sonic game, like an actual mainline Sonic game coming. So we'll see what direction they take that. But yeah, 30th anniversary. Congratulations to the Blue Blur for making it this far. With Despite their best efforts to kill you over and over again, they've managed to not do that thus far. Also, Sonic becoming a VTuber this week, so, they're speaking to the kids, Jeff.
There you go.
Sonic VTuber. That's high on my list of things I needed to see Sonic as, so thank you to Sega for that one. And now it's time for Mr. Black to tell us about how Elgato can help you become a VTuber. Mr. Black?
Well, before that, I mean, y'all can go to patreon.com/lagtv and throw money at the screen.
Absolutely.
Then you can go to Elgato's website. Link is in the description below. You can pick yourself up a green screen, pick yourself up some lighting. I now have a VTuber. I'm testing everything out now. You actually don't even need a green screen with this technology they got now.
It's the future.
So, yeah, but you need some good lighting so you can get, you know, the key light from Elgato. You can always go ahead and grab the Stream Deck, which actually comes in handy for VTubing specifically because you can click just a button and change and do an emote, like change the look of your VTuber and stuff like that. And of course, they've got all kinds of stuff. They got microphones, the Wave 3 products. They've got sound dampeners for your walls that actually look good and don't destroy your walls, like, you know, slapping tape on your walls.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because
your paint will come off so fast. It's just
no matter what that tape tells you.
Don't do that. Trust me, it don't work. You also got NordVPN. If you guys don't already have a VPN service, especially if you're playing Avengers online and you actually don't want to get doxxed, get yourself NordVPN. Use the promo code OTT. Get 70% off. Link is also in the description below. That is nordvpn.com/OTT. NORDVPN.com/OTT. OTT. Y'all been supporting. Keep supporting. If you guys are in the market for a VPN so you can watch different regions of Netflix, which comes in very handy. Watch region block content. Stay safe. Stay anonymous. Playing Avengers online. Whatever it is that you do, go to NordVPN, use the promo code OTT, and get 70% off. Plus, you get 30-day money-back guarantee, a bonus month when you sign up, and the most important part is you support the podcast. You keep us going. So whenever you're in the market, think NordVPN. That's it.
Boom! And now it's time for...
Movies. TV.
Nicolas Cage. Need I say more?
Oh, my God.
Need I say more than Nicolas Cage? Mr. Black, he's in a new movie called Pig.
Yeah.
Have you seen this trailer?
I have. And it don't look good. It don't look good.
Come on, what? You don't want Nicolas Cage being John Wick going after a truffle pig? Mr. Black, you don't want that?
I don't. No. Nicolas Cage is a mess, man. That guy's a mess. I watched the piece on him yesterday on Facebook. You know how you're scrolling through Facebook and they got all these like videos just randomly fucking pop up?
Yeah.
So there was one about Nicolas Cage, man. Apparently this guy had like $125 million bucks, and then he just went and blew it on
some most crazy shit.
Craziest fucking shit imaginable.
Eccentric is an understatement when it comes to describing Nicolas Cage's taste for things he collects. It's all over the place.
He bought like octopuses. He bought castles. Like legit castles.
Legit castles, yeah. Because where else are you gonna put your octopi, Mr. Black, other than a castle?
I don't know, man. That guy is a little. He's
and you know what,
gone, man.
And you know what? It makes me watch every one of those fucking movies. I'm gonna watch the fuck out of Pig.
Oh my! Of course you are. Of course you are.
I'm gonna watch the shit out of John Wick Pig Edition. 100%. 100%. No questions asked. I am in. He can, at this point, he's leaned so far into being batshit insane that I just gotta be there for the moment. I gotta see it. I gotta see it unfold every time. And this is, I mean, first of all, God bless whatever studio got handed the script for this movie and said yes.
I bet you he's got like 10 lines in this movie. I bet he probably barely says anything.
As of late, all of his movies that I've seen, he's not had to do a lot of dialogue. He just kind of shows up and screams.
There's a reason. They're literally using Nicolas Cage for his name. What left of it?
Academy Award winner,
yeah,
Nicolas.
That's it, man. That's it. And they're probably paying him like $200,000 to do a movie, and he's like, "Dude, I'm not doing more than 20 lines."
Man, do you know how many octopi I can buy with 200 grand? I'm in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can get a new floor in my castle.
It's crazy.
Square Enix is reportedly getting on the game to animated series train, as it's rumored that they're working on a Final Fantasy IX show. Episode count and whatnot haven't been announced yet, but they are targeting ages 8 through 13. So this is going to be a kids show, like a proper kids show based on Final Fantasy IX. And will begin production late this year into early 2022 before pitching it to broadcasters. So, they don't know where it's going to show up yet. We don't know if it's going to be a streaming service. Probably going to be a streaming service, but it could also, for all we know, end up on fucking TV at this point. If it's 8 to 13, it's possible. But I mean, come on. It's probably going to end up on Netflix, let's be honest. It's probably where it's going to show up. I was surprised, 8 to 13. I was trying to think of like, is this Square Enix trying to get like the kids? Is this the gateway drug for kids? Is the Final Fantasy introduction to Final Fantasy at 8 to 13 through Final Fantasy 9 animation, and then you grow up and then you get exposed to the dog shit that's Final Fantasy 7 remake, intergrade, intermission, Yuffie episode? Is that what this is?
Possible. It's possible. It's very possible. I ain't watching this stuff, so.
Well, you're not going to introduce Kai to the wonderful world of Final Fantasy 9?
No, not anytime soon. My son's 2.5 years old, It's got a little ways to go.
He looks like a grown-ass man. Just plop him down in front of the TV.
My son looks like he's 5.
He does look like he's 5.
Dude, it's fucking crazy. Whenever somebody comes and sees him, they're like, what the fuck? How old is he? I'm like, yeah, he's like 2 years, 5 months.
You know what the thing is, though, other than the fact that he's obviously, you know, he's going to be a relatively tall kid, but like beyond that, I swear to God, it's because we're dressing kids like adults from the age of fucking 2 now. Like you look at your son's wardrobe, he's dressing better than you or I are at any given time.
Dressing better than me. Oh, 100%. This is what I'm wearing 6 days a week.
Yeah, like he's
got like Nike and Puma and fucking North Face.
And it's like put together outfits. It's shit that like you'd wear to go to like a fancy dinner, but his ass is wearing it to go to the park. Yeah. So like they look like little adults now. Like when we were kids, like our parents were putting us in whatever fucking bullshit they could find and just like yeet us out the front door.
I was at the thrift stores, man, when I was younger, dude.
Yeah. That's what my parents did, because I was growing so fast, it would have been stupid to buy brand new clothes, so they took me to the fucking thrift stores.
Yeah. Go crazy.
These kids are rolling in big baller shit. Has anyone bought him Oshkosh Bagosh yet? Has he gone that baller?
Kai's got so much of that shit, bro. I mean, that guy is dripping in privilege right now. It's ridiculous, I'm telling you. Like, he doesn't even know how good he's got it.
He doesn't know the black struggle, Jeff?
Dude, he doesn't, because he's the only black thing around here in like a fucking 60-mile radius.
We did talk early on about how we thought he was going to be just light enough,
dude,
to catch all the privilege that he needs, just enough privilege.
Yeah, he's definitely enough black that you can tell he's black.
You can tell.
But he's not. Yeah. He's not like, he's a little bit lighter than me, like just a little bit lighter.
He's a latte.
Yeah, he's a latte. He's gonna get all of the girls, man.
Oh, 100%.
He's gonna get.
Dude, you're gonna have to be real specific about his sex talk, because he's gonna be a troublemaker.
He's gonna get all
for
of
sure.
Them,
Shit's gonna be wild,
and I'm gonna let him. Anyway.
Oh, fucking hell. Other than that, we got rumors circulating that Universal might be remaking Jaws with Spielberg producing. I couldn't remember what the director was, but yeah, Spielberg producing apparently. Oh, that makes sense. Again, like everything else, they're remaking shit. I mean, Jaws is the 70s, for fuck's sake. I mean, that's why not redo Jaws at this point? We have the technology. We can do it better, probably. Although, in all honesty, the animatronics in Jaws for the 70s were dope. They were really fucking good.
My guess is they would continue that. I think that would be sort of part of their marketing. Would be like, hey, we're using animatronics, like just like how
Jurassic
Spielberg, could do Jurassic Park, right? They're probably still gonna keep. Obviously, there'll be some CGI, but I would imagine that the animatronics that they can build in 2021, 2022,
especially with the budget. Spielberg shows up producing, then the studio says, "Go, blank check, make us some Jaws."
Yeah.
I wonder if it will have a similar effect that Jaws did when it first came out. Obviously not for people that have seen the original Jaws, but, the younger crowd, they go out to see Jaws, the remake.
I doubt it.
Because when Jaws first came out, Mom was tell me about this, but she went to go see it with her girlfriends or whatever when it first came out. And she said, not a fucking soul went to a beach for at least 1-2 summers. Nobody would dare fucking step foot. She said there couldn't, like, we all knew, and this is like up here in Canada, there ain't a shark, but one shark that randomly showed up here in the last couple of years, like just ran. There ain't a shark near a beach you need to worry about anywhere here. She said beaches were barren, not a soul anywhere after Jaws came out. And
it was a different time, man. People are used to this shit now, like, I don't think it would have that effect, but I think it could do really well. Like the new Jurassic Park's doing crazy money, like $1 billion movies.
Huge money.
So, I'm sure Jaws could do it too if they did it right.
Oh, I bet you Jaws does a bill. I can see Jaws doing a bill.
It really will if they do it right.
Yeah. I'd fucks with it too, because Jaws. Absolutely, I'll watch the shit out of that for sure. And you know what's kind of like, nobody's really done a Jaws like we've gotten like bits and pieces of like sea monster shit, but nobody's done like a
Well, there's been like Deep Blue Sea. There's been the one there
can
with
we really count? Can we really count Deep Blue Sea? Is that
that's a good movie, man. That's a good movie. I like Deep Blue Sea. That's good.
Was it a good movie?
Yeah,
All
man,
right.
I liked it. I like Deep Blue Sea a lot.
Okay.
I think
Sharknado
that
doesn't
movie-
count. No,
No,
Sharknado.
then you had the
Oh, the
one
Meg
with
is
the
probably
Meg, yeah.
the closest.
Like,
It's
that's
probably
what
the
I was just about to
closest
say.
thing. Yeah.
So like they have the Meg now with Jason Statham, right?
That's
So-
true. That's true. That's true.
and I'm pretty sure they're doing a second one.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
And that was basically somebody sat down in a room and said, "What if we did Jaws, but just make Jaws really fucking big?"
Yeah.
And they said, yes. And then somebody said, "Can we get Jason Statham?" And they said, "Probably."
Yeah.
And then it was made. And here we
That's
are,
it.
coming in for round 2. That's all I had there. Did you watch anything the last week that was of any consequence?
I watched the first episode of Loki.
How'd you like that?
We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was a solid first episode.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the dynamic between the two?
Oh, I think it's great. I think Owen Wilson is perfect for the role. It's like the right amount of sarcasm, and I feel like seeing Loki just doing all the jokes all the time would have got old. So it's nice to have sort of Loki more of the straight guy.
Yeah.
Than him being the joke guy amongst all of the Avengers. Or at least like, the mischievous jokester, the one that's always kind of getting the last word. But it was nice to see Owen Wilson's character kind of be the guy that is almost poking the bear, right? Like,
yeah.
So that was cool. I enjoyed the first episode. I thought it was good. It's got a much more Marvel feel than the other two shows. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that had a bit of a Marvel feel to it, but it was like you knew it was Marvel, but it felt like a lot of action shows as well, that it didn't really differentiate itself from what Marvel feels like. And WandaVision just was its own thing. It felt very Marvel-y towards the end of WandaVision, but like kind of going through it, it was just like it was different, and that's what made it good. But this one felt like a Marvel movie. Like it just felt like I was watching the first hour of a Loki movie. So yeah, it was good. We'll see what happens. I'm hearing fairly good things about it so far. I think there's 3 episodes out now. So yeah, that's that. And last night, Kale and I decided to start a new show, and we started on Netflix because it was number 1. It's called Manifest.
Manifest.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
Em pointed that out. Yeah,
it's been out for I think a couple years.
Yeah,
I think they're doing the last season now, or they just finished.
That's the plane arrived, but you were all assumed dead many years ago, and now you're back.
Yes. Yeah. It was like they go on a plane ride, and then their plane ride is normal for them. There's something that happens during the plane. I won't spoil it. And then when they land, everyone's like, "What the fuck? Where have you been for 5 years?" And they're like, "Dude, and they haven't aged. They look the same, and everyone just doesn't know what's going on." So we watched the first episode. It was actually decent. Couple of decent actors in there. No names I know, but like there was a couple people that were actually acting, which was nice to see as a pilot. And the concept is cool. It reminded me a lot of Lost.
I was gonna say it's very Lost,
having that mystery without being on an island. And there's some really cool dynamics because like when an entire plane of people, like it was like 190 people or 180 people or something, all disappear for 5 years. Some of their family members died within that time. Some of their wives and spouses moved on, remarried. Some of their other children are older now. There's all kinds of cool dynamics that you can be done with the show, and they explored a couple of them in the first episode. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. So I started watching that.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't watch. I haven't watched much else here in the last bit, most because I wasn't watching a lot of TV, but we did watch a couple. We were catching up on 90 Day because we hadn't watched in a long time. It's been months, so we got back on the 90 Day hype, and caught it. We've been catching up on that Gong Show, and man, is it a gong show? But my God, it's so entertaining. I can't stop. I can't stop. Once it's there, I gotta keep watching 90 Day.
Gotta binge 90 Day.
Hey, just
It's been
binge
so
it.
long since I watched 90 Day.
Oh, it's definitely
there's too many 90 days, man. That's just too many. There's too many of them now.
you gotta just pick your lane. You gotta pick your lane and fucking just like stay in it. And then if you ever want to go back, watch like the other ones. But they do have like 5 different fucking
There's
shows.
so many, man.
Yeah.
And then like they revisit some of these old characters and they like come back because they're more of the popular. Like it's just too reality. Like it's so scripted and fucking
Yeah.
like it's just like I don't know, man. Like parts of it. It's really good. It's entertaining. It's like watching a train wreck, but there's so much like behind the scenes TV shit that is so clear what they do that it's just like it turns me off from it a little bit. It's just like, oh man, I just wish they didn't make things so damn obvious.
It's one of those shows where it's like there's just enough real going on that you can like buy into it, but you know that it's probably like a 50-50 split. Like if things aren't salacious enough, the producer probably comes in and is like, all right,
100%.
Can you fuck some shit up real quick for me?
Yes. Yeah.
But and then there's like the other half of it's like legitimately stuff is because these people are like, you have to understand that the people that would even be willing to participate on this show,
they're already a little,
like, they're so
exactly.
So some of it's real, but like once in a while, it's usually the like a third or a fourth party that stirs shit up. So it's like the producer. It's not the couple.
People, man.
The couple are legitimately fucking insane.
Oh, of course.
But then like it's like the friend or like the friend of a friend or a relative, and the producer's like, I'll just slip you like $5,000 if you'll go fuck some shit up real quick. And like, okay.
Yeah, and I remember there were times where and this is what started throwing me off from the show. Is I remember there was a couple of episodes in particular where the guy was trying to go meet this girl. He kept traveling to some sort of place. I forget what it was called. To meet up with this girl that he talked to online. And he went to this place. He got flowers and he sat down at a table. And every time that they changed the camera angle and stuff, like people would be out of the seats around them. It would be
like continuity errors everywhere.
Continuity errors, and then it would be like 3, 4, 6 hours later, and the same double, like, or actor or whatever was still sitting in the same table like 6 hours later. And I'm like, I understand they're making TV here, and then the server that worked there was kept going over and talking to him like, are you sure everything's okay?
I know what you're talking about.
Tell me a little bit about this and what's going on and blah blah blah. And you could tell the person
he was in the Ukraine
there. You could tell the person that was working there was an actor. The whole thing was one big setup. It was just like, I believe that to a degree that guy like was going there to like think he was, but once they realized she wasn't going to show or something.
Apparently he had gone like 3 times before and she never showed up all 3 times. Yeah. And so, obviously when she's not going to show up, the producers are like, all right, we need to make this more interesting. How can we make this more interesting than just showing a time lapse of this sorry son of a bitch sitting at a table with fucking flowers wilting, waiting for this girl to show up after the 4th time of coming over here. He was some super like fucking rich white dude that was just like mail order bride type shit, and it was, that one hurt to watch because that guy,
was painful.
When they finally met and they're hugging or whatever, and she was like
a trench coat, like he was wearing like a leather trench coat or some shit. And he was just and it's like hot as fuck outside, and she's like, "What?" That she didn't want to touch him, but like,
it was like it was one of those like hover hugs.
Oh my God, yeah, so bad.
Oh God, anyway. But you know what? Like you said, it's like a train wreck. You can't look away. You gotta watch it. Your eyes are just glued to this dumpster fire the whole time. So that's.
Other than that, that's it.
Yeah, no, nothing else for now. Wonderful, which means it's time for.
Tech support.
Oh shit, that's right. Did you see the new dating show on Netflix where they dress them up like animals?
I have not.
Okay, so I saw the trailer for it day before. They're literally going full blown like prosthetic and everything, like professional movie level makeup, animal head pieces or whatever. Like the body is mostly the same, like just human, whatever the fuck. But it's like the concept is that you can't tell really what the person looks like beyond like a rough guess based on their body. You can't tell what their face is like or whatever because it's under all this shit, and they're like just dating is basically it's like furries but not furries. So it's fucking weird, bro. It's really fucking weird. I can't remember what the name of it is, but they basically they dress them up like animals and then send them off on dates and shit, and it's fucking bizarro land. It's kind of like if you took the show Dinosaurs and then just made everything fucking dating. Like that's fucking.
I just don't find that entertaining at all.
There's certain levels of train wreck I'm willing to watch. I don't think that
ain't it, man.
Listen,
dude. If I
sexy
didn't have,
beasts.
Yeah, listen. If I didn't have about an hour to an hour and a half of free time at most 5 days a week,
maybe.
You know what? Maybe I check it out
just to see how bad it is, right?
But my time is so competitive. I only can watch certain things that actually interest me, not this garbage. It just ain't happening.
People were like, you cancel some of these dope shows and this is the shit that you put on Netflix? Like, for real, bro?
Crazy.
My God. But you know what? I bet you it does big numbers because it's so fucking stupid.
And it probably costs next to no money to fucking produce.
Yep.
Put people on a shitty date.
Yep.
You know, probably cost them like, maybe $100,000 an episode.
Yep.
And you got a bunch of fucking young people that want to just get more Instagram followers that fucking will play these roles. And put them on an island somewhere for
TikTok
for a week
now,
or two.
bro. Instagram's for boomers. Now we're on to the TikTok.
Dude, TikTok is so fucking cringe, bro. The whole short stuff is so fucking cringe. It hurts my soul. It hurts my soul to see these. Every second, even on Instagram, I'm seeing this shit. YouTube, I'm seeing this shit where you get these shorts.
Yep.
And then you've got these women on there that are basically lip singing to a song, doing like, and they're like, it's so cringe.
Oh yeah,
it's so incredibly cringy.
It's for the Zoomer 5-second attention span, bro.
It's so incredibly cringy. It hurts my being, like watching somebody like try and act sexy while lip singing something.
It's kind of like Vine, but not as funny as Vine was. Vine had some legit funny shit, but the TikTok is like, how many different ways can I do a dancing fucking number to the latest BTS song?
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Shit.
It's not my thing. I'll tell you that. All the power to the ones doing it, but it ain't me. It ain't. No.
So yeah, tech support. Patreon.com/lagtv. $10 a month or more gets you in a couple of goodies. Not the least of which right now, actually specifically, is the ability to ask us questions each and every week, and we answer as many as we can at the end of the show. Call tech support. That's what we're doing right now. Dan Jim asks, what are some of the most memorable video game Easter eggs that you found? I mean, earlier in life, because games don't do Easter eggs as often as they used to do. I would say, I mean, Halo had a lot of them because they intentionally put them in. You could like break the game to get out of a level in a way that you didn't think the devs would imagine you would be able to pull off or even think to do, but they did think ahead of time and they'd put shit in those places. Like the massive soccer ball in that in one level, or like hidden skulls in areas in Halo 2 or whatever, where you had to like get the Banshee like through that entire fucking tunnel segment that was like nearly impossible to fucking get it through there, but if you did, you could fly on the other side and find that stuff. Beyond that, I mean, there are Easter eggs and stuff, but a lot of them were kind of like, I never found them unintentionally. Halos I did, but I don't know if there were many that I found unintentionally. I remember one that was like sort of an Easter egg, but not really, because there was a fairly defined way of getting to it. Was seeing Yoshi on the castle roof in Mario 64.
Yeah.
That was one that a lot of people talked about, but not everyone did because not everyone collected all of the stars to be able to unlock that cannon to even shoot yourself up there.
Dude, I can't even think of many. Like I remember like old Wolfenstein 3D, there used to be a bunch of different Easter eggs and things that were sort of
Yeah, well,
scattered
there's a
all over the
lot of
place.
secret rooms and shit in Wolfenstein for sure, and
But
Doom had
outside of that,
stuff.
I have never like as a gamer, I've never been into Easter eggs and secret,
Mm.
it just never was my thing. It's just
The
nothing that I ever really got into. I didn't really care. I just wanted to play the game.
yeah.
That's just my thing. I don't know.
Easter eggs were kind of the thing that you did after you played the game so much and you were looking for different things to do and you just ended up eventually trying to like do crazy shit. I know like one that a lot of people tried to chase down for a long time was in GoldenEye 007 on the N64, unlocking all the cheats or whatnot. There were two things. One, well, specific two things, but it was the same, and it was the same idea. The cheat page, if you got all the cheats, if you unlocked all of them, there was one more line left on that dossier page on the bottom right. And so the left page was completely filled and the right page was filled all the way except for one more spot. And so people always assumed that there was one more cheat because why would you fuck with people and like show only one more fucking line? And the assumption was that it was a secret gun called the Spider. And it was based on like concept art or some shit or like early shots shown in magazines and stuff for the game of a gun, and they assumed that it was something, and people tried forever to figure out how to unlock this last fucking cheat, and they tried Game Sharks and everything else, and they were so convinced. And the reality was there was no cheat, and the Spider was technically a gun at one point, but the Spider got changed into the Klob, which was the gun named after one of the makers of the game Ken Lobb. Is the Klob. It's his name turned into a gun form. So the Spider got turned into the Klob or the RCP-90, one or the other. So like I remember a lot of people trying to chase down that thing. There was, I remember, a thing that I saw in GoldenEye that I found out later on was sort of an Easter egg, where if you go all the way down to the docks on the dam and you have the sniper rifle and you zoom all the way across, there is an extra tower that was all the way on the other side of the water. And I think the story goes that originally there was going to be some sort of gameplay that was going to happen over there, but it ended up getting axed from the final. And if you use the Game Shark, you can actually go over there. Like you can like no clip your way over to that side, and there's you can actually see the building and stuff that's there, but it never got used in the final game. I like when Easter eggs exist because it tells me that level designers and stuff, on the off chance you do manage to break something and find it, it's like they were thinking about that. It's kind of like a weird interaction between the player and the developer where it's like, they know that you're looking for the shit. I always try and break games whenever I play them just for fun. Get outside the level, like get through a wall, like or whatnot, just for fun. But yeah, they don't do it as often as they used to. Easter eggs were like a big thing back in the day, but not so much anymore. Mark Furry asks, in the spirit of hashtag Free Britney, which really they should, that shit's fucked up. Like, the Britney Spears thing is fucking wild. If someone you knew or know had to get put in charge of all of your affairs, who would be the best option and the worst option?
Best option and the worst option.
Well, the best option is obviously one of my parents. They wouldn't fuck shit up so bad.
I would probably say the best option would be a financial advisor. And the worst would be my mom. That would be the worst.
Kai would be in a lot more Oshkosh Bagosh if that happened.
A lot. Too much.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know, but worst, man. Who would be the worst? Shit. I don't really spend any time or know anyone that I can think of that I couldn't in some way, shape, or form trust with my affairs. Because
Brian.
I don't see. Brian.
There you go. Brian,
I guess it would be boring. I don't think
Take
he'd do
by
anything.
default.
I don't think he'd do anything crazy with it. He just kind of. Honestly, I think he'd just give me whatever I wanted. Honestly, maybe that would be the worst idea. I don't know. But either way, yeah, I don't know. I don't really spend much time with people that I wouldn't allow to have some of that. T-Diz, there you go. Oh fuck, there.
You go.
Oh my god,
there it is. Diz.
Diz
Give
is.
me Diz. Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah,
You're worse off than
he'd
Britney.
be buying. Be buying more DJ equipment. Oh no, camera equipment now. Actually, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Jorbach asks, what's the, or where is the dumbest place you ever fell asleep for a nap?
The dumbest place.
I fell asleep taking a shit once because it was such a lengthy, tiring, painful shit that it just drained me, and I legitimately fell asleep. Now, it wasn't long. It's not like I had a 3-hour fucking nap on the crapper or some shit, but I literally had like that, one of those like 30-second ones where you like fall and then you like snap awake kind of thing. Yeah, it was one of those.
I mean, I've fallen asleep driving once, so it's probably the dumbest place. Yeah, I passed out, or not like not as in like passed out, but I was so tired that I dozed off.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah,
that
was years ago. I was like 16, 17 years old.
So you were in the Civic at the time?
I was driving to Montreal actually.
Oh my god!
And the thing that woke me up, actually, me and Wayne both did that. On our way, on the way there, they have the rivets on the highway so that if you start to go off road, it makes a shit ton of noise.
Oh right,
yeah. So like, just dozing off, right, driving like 15 hours straight, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm like, oh shit. And go back on the road. But as soon as that happens, like you're fully awake now, like your adrenaline is like, you know what I mean? So we actually both did that. So yeah, it's a long drive, man.
Shoutouts to those rumble strips for keeping people alive.
Oh, I'm sure that saved many, many lives.
Mm-hmm.
Many, many.
Danish Devil asks, what's your most awkward oh shit my fly is down story? Whether somebody noticed it or you caught it before it got weird.
I don't think that's ever happened to me.
I gave an entire presentation, a 30-minute long presentation in third year university. My fly was down whole time. Didn't notice
Nobody
until
said anything. Nobody fucking not a
single
person.
fucking person. I sat. I went back to my chair after I was done. I put my like stuff on the tabletop, and when I looked down to pull the chair out, fucking flies right down. I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. Gave the whole damn thing. Then nobody said anything.
Damn.
Yeah. Rip.
I would have been that dick that had been like, you fly.
Nobody said a damn thing.
Damn.
Fucked up. Xenon Slayer, after yesterday's Sonic Symphony celebration, I have to ask, what is your favorite soundtrack from a video game series? Sonic does have some dope music, though.
I'm going to go with Final Fantasy VII, man. It's got some of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a game.
That's a banger.
Yep.
I almost always default to Jet Set Radio Future as like a whole track. Like there are individual main themes that are really, really amazing. Lost Odyssey is another one that I really like too. 8910 asks, do you take any vitamins or supplements?
No. Like when I start to work out, I'll take like some protein. My wife has like
Vitamin D?
Yeah, that's what my wife has upstairs for me.
B12?
B12.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like once in a while, I might do like a probiotic or something just to cycle a probiotic for a little bit if, the bowels are doing some weird shit. And then otherwise, yeah, it's just vitamin D3 and vitamin B12. That's it. Those are the two. And then yeah, like like supplements and stuff. Protein powder if I'm really like fucking try hard mode or some shit. I guess if I'm working out or whatever. But I don't take like pre-workout and shit. That's eat a fucking apple. You don't need pre-workout. Jesus. What's the most uncomfortable situation you've ever had the displeasure to have been in? Asks D Neves. Lots of what's your worsts. So what's an uncomfortable situation that you've ever had to be in, Mr. Black? Just an awkward one. Well, your first sex story was kind of fucking uncomfortable because parents showed up at the worst possible time, or best, depending on how you want to look at that.
No, that was probably one of the worst. I mean, I've been around couples when, like, you know, they're just fighting, you know, and it's just like, oh,
yeah,
you're just kind of there.
Yeah,
that's always awkward.
That is awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like in public. Some people just don't give a fuck. Like you'll be at like a restaurant and they'll just go at it, and you're just in public and you're at the table too, and you're just kind of like doing the like cover.
Yeah, you're just like, oh man, really?
I don't want to be here right now. There was. I don't know. It's not really like I haven't had like a lot of like super uncomfortable moments. There was a time I was hanging out with the guys, and there was one of them that was trying to ask this girl out that he really liked this girl, and you know, we're all encouraging, you know, go for it, whatever. And like he chose the moment when we were all also there. And to go in it, which was never going to go well because now the girl feels like it's like a fucking like 4-on-1 situation. That's a bad call. You never want to do that, but he did anyway. And so I got to watch that crash and burn in real time, and that was kind of fucking awkward because it was when it ended, when she just kind of shut it down. He didn't know how to react, and so everyone was just kind of standing around not saying anything for like 10-15 seconds, and it was just a really long, awkward silence that nobody wanted to break. He was just kind of processing that he just got turned down. She was like trying to figure out if she was just supposed to walk away now or like what the fuck was supposed to happen. But nothing like crazy cringe. One of M's friends and her husband are super PDA, don't give a fuck, like just full on French kissing and shit. That's pretty fucking cringe.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either.
No.
I'm not even a big public affection guy. I'm not very affectionate. I'm not like a very...
Yeah, I'll do the hug, kiss on the forehead, little kiss, whatever. But nobody wants to watch you make out. Like nobody wants to see that shit. Yeah, so like the next time I said to her, next time we're over there, if I see that happen, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start dry humping M, and I'm just gonna stare right at them the whole time. Yeah. And then when they're like, dude, what the fuck? And be like, this is what it feels like. You like that?
Make me feel.
You like that?
You make me feel.
This is what this feels like. You like that's gonna be it. It's gonna be the assert dominance, stare them in the eye.
Last week, man, I had a doctor stick her finger up my ass. You know, that was.
Yeah, that's a thing that's probably never not awkward, but especially the first time. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I didn't really care. Like, you know, for me, it's like whatever, but.
It's never a comfortable thing.
Yeah, you know, and she's a younger doctor, you know, she's like my age probably.
Here's the question though: do you want a woman doing it, or do you want a man shoving his finger in your ass? I mean, really?
You know, the first time I ever had my ass taken a look at, it was by a guy doctor, and then this time, like, I just got an appointment with my doctor, and it's a woman, it's a female. Yeah, so anyway, I went over there and basically told her what was going on. She's like, yeah, I'll take a look. I was like, okay. And she's like, okay. You know, I'm also gonna, I hurt my back really bad. Like I fell on my back.
Yeah.
Moving a stove, and I nailed right on my tailbone, and my sciatic nerve was fucked. And it, like, the pain was going right through my ass, my lower back.
Was it doing the thing where your asshole like spasms and it feels like you need to shit but you don't, but it hurts like fucking crazy?
It was quite literally, my asshole was sore, my ass was sore, my lower back was sore. And like, I was like, I knew it wasn't anything crazy. I was like, I don't have hemorrhoids or anything like that. Like, I can pretty much diagnose myself, you know, But you know, this pain and this discomfort, like I was like you, like this when we first started the podcast, we were like, dude, I've just been on edge, man. If something happens where I'm gonna freak out, right? I was on edge for like a week and a half because it's so uncomfortable. Like I had pillows down here, I was sitting on a pillow, and I was like sitting on an
sciatica
angle.
doesn't
like,
care
man,
what you're sitting on,
yeah,
bro.
dude, it was brutal, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I was like, I need to get this looked at because like I don't know what the fuck is going on. So yeah, I told her, she was asking a bunch of questions, and then she was like, yeah, I'll take a look, right? So I was like, okay, fine. Like I knew she was gonna look at my ass, so I was like, that's fine. And she's like, yeah, just get undressed and you know, lay on your side and cover yourself with this fucking sheet. I was like, okay, no problem. So she leaves. I get butt ass naked, and I'm laying on here, and she's young, man. Like, you know, she's like, you know,
my GP is probably only about, I'd say maybe 3 years older than I am. She might be a year older than I am.
I think this doctor might actually be younger than me. Like she might be 29
like
or
fresh,
30.
Like fresh out of fucking like med school.
Yeah, like she's pretty young. She's great. Like we had a different doctor, but they moved. So they put her in, and she's awesome. She's really, really good. But and I don't say that because she stuck a finger in my ass, but like she's just a good doctor.
She knows all the right spots. Yeah,
that's it. So anyway, I'm laying there, and she comes in. She's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine." So she's like, "All right, so I'm just gonna spread your ass cheeks, pretty much, right? Without saying ass, but she's using all the medical terms. Right?
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna spread your buttocks and insert a finger into your anus. Are you ready?
She didn't even say that at first, right? So at first she's just like looking at my ass, checking out the area. And then she's like, okay. She's like, is it okay? Do you feel comfortable if I do you know, an anal you know, look-see? Make sure you don't have any hemorrhoids or anything like that. You know, make sure everything is looking good and everything's normal. I said, yeah, that's fine. She's like, okay. So she goes at the end of the bed, and there's this little machine there she brings over the light. And then she already had gloves on, but then she had there's this lube tube, and she's like,
oh yeah,
she's on it, put it on her finger. I was like, oh my god. and then she's like, all right, you're gonna feel a little pressure. I'm like, okay.
It's gonna feel like you're gonna have to shit here in a second.
Yeah, it didn't even feel like that. It was just pressure. Like I didn't even like. I don't know, man. It was uncomfortable. You know, it's funny that you bring up this question. I think this might actually be.
It's up there.
You know what though? Like, you know what? At the same time though, like 10 years ago, this would have been this would have. I wouldn't have been able to sleep the night before.
You're approaching the age where you just don't fucking care.
I just don't give a fuck, bro. Like, you know what? Like, my ass was nice and shaved. It was nice and clean. Like, everything was good. I was like, you know what, man? She's gonna go down there and she got to see what's going on. I really don't care. I was not expecting to have my asshole fingered when I went there, but it happened. Yeah, that happened, bro. That happened. And I'm like, I'm at the age where I just don't care, man. Especially I'm like uncomfortable. I'm like, I'd rather you just take a look.
Yeah.
You know, and the older I get, and I told her, she's like, oh, that wasn't bad at all. I was like, yeah, it wasn't too bad. I was like, you know, it's probably more awkward for you than it is for me. She's like, no, it's probably more awkward for you than it is for me because I deal with this all day, every day. She's like, literally, like, people's bowels and things like that are like the number one thing that people, you know, talk about. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So
I will say, now that we talked about that,
store, so you know,
well, that's great.
That's good.
Now I have to fix my sciatic pain because I'm dealing with that on top of what else is going on right now. So I've been getting I'll be like on the couch watching, you know, my 90-day and enjoying myself, and all of a sudden I've got like your fucking ass feels like somebody's literally going and taking a knife to town.
Yes. Just pressure and just like,
like on your asshole like, specifically.
Yeah, your anus, bro.
And you're like, huh?
Literally, your anus is like, like, what the fuck? And Jesus, man.
You can't get comfortable. There's no position to get in. It just comes after you.
Yeah, so that's what I was going through for like a week and a half, and that wasn't fun. So hopefully, you know, you don't have to go through that.
No. I know it's sciatica. I don't need to get my asshole fingered just yet. That will happen eventually, but not just yet. I did have that one time though when I had to get my fucking nut checked because of all the shit that happened to my poor fucking left side in youth, and that was a dude. And so you're laying on a table, and he's just fucking like fucking around with your balls and shit, and that was awkward. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, I'm gonna
That
one
was
up you
awkward.
here. I'm gonna one up you here. I had the same thing. I went and got ultrasounds done on my my nuts
On the nuts, yeah.
because I got a cyst on one of my on one of my nuts, right? So I want to make sure. This was years ago. I was like 17 years old. I was like fucking young.
Yeah, that's when I was. I was like,
And,
I was 17
yeah,
or
I was
18.
I was like 17 years old when I first noticed this shit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was probably 16 and I waited a while. I was scared. So I go to this thing and I'm also saying this as well, guys, because there's probably a bunch of people here that watch this and are like nervous about like doing this sort of stuff, and it's totally fine. Like, make sure that your health is good.
The doctors see this shit
like,
all the time.
The doctors don't give a fuck. Like, I can look back at this and be like, whatever. So anyway, I go down there and I get an ultrasound, and I think I've told the story maybe on the podcast
probably.
or on thing. So I get an ultrasound, and as I go in there, it's a young girl once again, like, and it's not even the doctor. So like it's like a helper of the doctor. So like the helper is coming in to do the actual ultrasound stuff and like get the images, and then the doctor comes in to look at the images. So this girl, young girl, right? And I'm like 17 years old and I'm mortified, right? I'm like, oh my God, like there's no, there is no getting around this. Like, they're going to see my cock and my balls. Like, it's going to sit there. So I'm literally like, I'm holding my cock in one hand and I'm flapping it up onto my stomach and I'm like trying to cover it with my hand. And she comes in and I'm just laying there, like, just fucking spread eagle. Like, just right there on the thing.
Oh yeah.
And she puts that shit on the little thing.
It ain't
she
warm.
Starts, like, yeah, and then she starts like taking images of my nuts and she's having a problem. She can't figure out why the image isn't coming up the way it's supposed to. So she calls the doctor in to come help because she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
Now we got an audience.
Doctor comes in. Yes, now we have an audience, right? And here's the crazy thing. On the little machine that they use to like to rub the stuff, she was using for whatever reason, this was like a double-ended one, and she was using the wrong side. So like it would get some kind of images, but it wouldn't be like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the stuff. But the doctor's like, yeah, flip it around. So they flipped around, then fucking put the blue ointment shit on that, and then went and did it, and the images were coming up. And like two females, one was really young, attractive young nurse, whatever I don't know, image taker. And I'm sitting there holding my cock and my balls, and they're sitting there doing all this stuff. So I've been there and done that, and it is not a fun thing. The other one is when I was 19, I stuck my dick in crazy.
You did
without a condom.
Oh.
And my shit was burning the next morning.
Oh dear.
And I was like, oh my God, man, did I catch something? Oh my God. I was like, no, please. So me and my buddy both went to the walk-in clinic because we were both like, these girls, man, they were, anyway. This was not.
Was this the dome is closing in 5 minutes type shit?
No, these girls were like friends of friends. They would come into the movie theater and we'd sneak them into the movies.
Okay. Yeah.
And dude, there's a crazy story with this that I'm not going to say on the internet. But, let's just say these girls were crazy, dude, and they came over to fuck. That's pretty much like this wasn't we were going downtown. It was like they're coming over tonight, and these girls aren't like, you could tell these girls probably got around. We know one of them for sure did. That was the one my buddy had. I had the other one. But either way, right? So anyway, the next day comes, right? And I think it ended up just being once again, this is it ended up being yeast.
Yeast infection?
It ended up being yeast infection, right?
Yeah, that happens.
And yeah, it happens. Like everybody knows anyway. But anyway, I thought
at that age and after sleeping with crazy.
Yeah, that's it, right? I thought that like I got chlamydia or some fucking gonorrhea or whatever the fuck you get, right? So me and my buddy both went there, and he was just nervous because the girl that he slept with, the condom broke, And he was like, he's like, I need to get checked. I'm like, I was like, I need to get checked because my shit's like, it was burning. I was like, dude, my cock is red. Like my shaft, everything it's burning.
Yeah.
And so I went to the doctor, and that shit was awkward. That was awkward. And I go to the doctor's like, yeah, what can I do for you today? I'm like, yeah, I had sex last night. He's like, yeah, you're concerned. You could tell like this guy like has been down this road a million times.
He's seen a few.
He said, let's see. Right. So I pull down my pants, I whip my cock out, right? And I'm showing him, I'm showing him the shaft, and I'm like pointing out like, yeah, this is red and this is burning.
Exhibit A.
And he looks at it for about all of 5 seconds.
Knows
right?
immediately.
He's like, you get a yeast infection.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't
go buy a tube of Monostat and put that shit on.
That was literally the show. He's like, you got a yeast infection.
Yeah.
He's like, go to the pharmacy or go to the pharmacy, grab this stuff, put this on. It should clear up in a few days.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. He's like, you don't have an STD. I was like, oh, okay, all right. So then went and got the stuff, and literally within like 2 days, shit was clear. It was fine. Never had a problem. Right.
Yeah.
So that was embarrassing as well. That was really, and the thing was, I was super nervous about it because I'm like, damn, man. I was like, I can't believe this. I'm fucking 19 years old. I'm gonna have an STD.
My sex life is over.
Yeah. So anyway.
Oh, youth. It's amazing, no?
Yeah.
Logan asks, what's your tip to beat the heat? Not your meat, but beat the heat. It's right there. It's called a heat pump. Costs a lot of money, but it's about all you can hope for short of having a fucking pool or jumping into the ocean, which here is debatable because, yeah, you might get cooled down, but you also might lose your dick. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've got AC in the house. So the little vent's literally directly above me. We got a pool, although I don't really use it. It's more for Kayla and Kai. But yeah, it's just AC, man. AC. That's what you do. It doesn't get insanely hot here in Nova Scotia. Like,
we'll have
really
a couple of days.
Yeah, really bad days. It's like 30, 32 degrees in your room, and you're like, oh my God, it's fucking hot. That's what the AC is for. But like outside, like our probably average hottest days are between, 27, 28 degrees. It's like,
yeah,
it's nothing.
Once or twice a summer, we'll get like some sort of weird outlier where it will be like 35, and then with humidity, it hits like 40 or some shit. But it's only a couple times a year. It's probably going to be more common as time goes on, unfortunately. But for now, it's rare. We're not fucking Arizona where it's like 54 degrees centigrade. And if you walk outside, you instantly die. Like we're not that bad. But we have our days. Humidity is the killer here because we're on the ocean. So we might hit 28 degrees, but then with humidity, it's like it feels like it's 36 or some shit. And you take a shower and you leave the shower and it feels like you never showered. Like that's kind of like what gets bad here. Again though, like heat pumps and stuff like that in part can draw some of the humidity out of the air. So it's not as bad, but yeah, that's we're not fucking Arizona. Last question comes in from Time Tricks. Says, help, Torontonians are invading. How do I stop the barbarians from invading? In all seriousness, if you guys notice people from the big cities moving into smaller towns and cities, causing issues for the people already living there. For example, the house prices, people not knowing how to drive on the roads, a huge increase in theft and damages, etc. Well, we talked about the housing. I mean, that's 100% a thing that's happening. That goes without saying. That's happening. The sheer amount of Ontario license plates that are here right now is fucking nutty.
It's a lot. Yeah. People are like, oh, dude, Ontario found our little safe haven.
Yeah.
They found our
the place that they never gave a fuck about for years and didn't care. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, mind if we buy your house for 50 grand over asking price?
Oh, that ain't even it anymore, dude. The houses, I'm seriously, bro, they're going over 6 figures now, like over asking. And my lawyer, when I went and sold this house, which I got $89,000 over asking, my lawyer said 60% of all the houses that are being bought that goes through him,
Yeah.
all cash buyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's coming from either China money,
Yep.
or Ontario, Vancouver money.
Yep.
It's literally those.
Which Vancouver money is basically just China money.
Yes. So China money and
Ontario,
Toronto, Ontario money.
Yeah.
That's it. They're selling their houses. They're moving here, or they're just buying real estate here, and they're just holding on to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. So beyond that, I mean, yeah. So with that, yeah, I mean, Ontario drivers, you know, especially from Toronto, they drive more aggressively. They don't understand how some of the shit works here yet. So, you know, you get into situations where you got to kind of avoid their bullshit. So that's obviously a thing. I don't think there's been an increase in theft or anything fucking stupid like that. But really, the biggest issue now is housing. And unless the government steps in and at least says, if you're going to buy a house here, you have to live here for a certain amount of time in a year. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
It's a free market, man. There's just no way they're going to do that.
But yeah, so that's kind of where that's at. But yeah, it's true. I mean, the license plates are fucking getting crazy here. What will happen though, and what has already happened, even though it was misplaced because it was a family that already lived here for like a decade or some shit, is there was a van with an Ontario license plate, got the windows blown out of it. Not long ago, because there are a number of citizens that are not being very Canadian-like, or Nova Scotian.
Well, I think a lot of that is with COVID, and there's been
that definitely didn't help.
There's a lot of people from Ontario that came here because of COVID, and they didn't want to be in the big city.
Yeah.
And you know, they just drove here, and they didn't quarantine, they didn't do whatever. And you know, obviously they spread fucking the virus here a lot.
Yeah.
And then there was people here locally that were just fucking pissed off that people from other provinces were coming here and ruining the good things that we had. Now, obviously, there's been tons of people that did it the right way. You know, quarantined themselves, did all the stuff, but you know, once again, stereotyping. People were just like, "Oh, Ontario license plate, fuck you, you don't belong here." So there's a lot of built up, there's a lot of animosity from Ontarians that are coming over here right now, which I think will calm down over time. But it's just everybody's on edge right now. Everybody's on edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
anyway. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's no Technical Alpha Podcast. Thank you so much if you were watching live. Bless you. Make sure to hit the follow button before you bounce out. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you don't miss anything if you prefer to watch it on YouTube. And, of course, you can follow us on the RSS feeds. We're up on just about every podcasting platform you can get your hands on. But spread the word, and, of course, if you want to help us out financially and keep this bad boy going for as long as possible, it's patreon.com/lagtv. We will see you guys next week for another episode of whatever this is. And until then, stay safe out there. Get your 5.0 shots. Still socially distance and pretend that you never want to see another human being again, at least for a little bit longer. And until then, peace!
Peace!